Hi, I'm Tracey L. Fisher, Gateway to Reentry Community Talks. I'm sitting here with the Yaden director of the Yaden Library, Richard Ashby Jr.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming today.
My pleasure.
Can you tell me something about your title?
I'm the director of the Yaden Public Library. I'm also the current Librarian of the Year. I'm past president of the New York State Black Librarian Caucus. I'm on the executive board of the African American Library Caucus of America, and I'm a member of the American Library Association.
So actually, you mentioned New York. So you're actually not from Philadelphia.
No, I'm planted here. I'm planted here. I'm relocated to Philadelphia.
And how did that come about?
Um, I got married. My wife's from Philadelphia, and she said, let's move from New York into Philadelphia. And we put an application into the Yaden Public Library 4 years ago. Didn't pass the first interview, and I was in Harlem at the Harlem Book Fair. I was doing a presentation. I was with Cornell West, Dr. Cornell West, and some members of the Yaden Public Library saw me, and they asked me would I come back again for an interview. And I did, and it was successful, and it was a marriage made in heaven.
So how did the community embrace you?
Oh, I'm having a ball in Yaden. It's my dream job. I have a wonderful board of trustees of 7 people. I work with a wonderful borough manager. My staff is professional, and the community just opened their arms and welcomed me in.
Now, how does the children relate to you?
I have a very good relationship with the children. I started out as a children's librarian when I first started as a librarian back in New York, and we have programs that specifically cater to the children at the library, as well as catering to the adult sector of the community.
Do you have any educational programs for the children at the library?
As a matter of fact, yes, we do. We have one program I developed called Cafe 3. At 3 o'clock, the library becomes a cafe. Because when I first got there, the children were sitting around making a lot of noise. Nobody was doing any studying. And once I started talking to them and interacting with them, I said, "What's the problem?" I said, "We're hungry, Mr. Ritchie." And the staff is saying they can't eat in the library. But being a director, you have certain leeway. So I said, okay, you know what? From now on, at 3 o'clock, this building is called Cafe 3. What's going to happen is, at 3 o'clock, the children will come in, settle down, start doing their homework. At 4 o'clock, we'll give you a meal. At 4:30, 5 o'clock, we'll go back into doing our homework, or we'll go back into arts and crafts or the chess club. So from 3 to 6, we do homework, we eat, we play chess, and we do arts and crafts.
And what about the other program you have?
We have a chess club, and we also, for the adults, we have Obamacare, which we do help people sign up for the health insurance.
Wow. Obamacare? Y'all give out phones too?
Yeah, we plan on doing that, yes. That's when the companies come in and they give you the cell phones and sign up. But the Yaden, usually, the citizens of Yaden usually don't need that free phone. Yaden is like a middle income community.
Well, also it's established with a lot of senior citizens, right?
Yes.
How has they embraced you?
We have wonderful senior citizens. I mostly deal with the senior citizens through the Friends of the Library. That's an organization that supports the library, and they do annual tea, and they do a gala, and that usually brings out the senior citizens, and then they come out also for the Kwanzaa program. So the senior citizens are really the backbone of the community, and they are really happy to see me there.
And besides being the director of the Yaden Library, you're also a minister, am I correct?
Yes, I'm a minister, yes.
And how's that going?
That's wonderful.
What makes it wonderful?
Just praising the Lord, being an example to the young people, ministering in the church. My wife is the pastor of the church, and we just have a good time. It's called Ashby International Ministries.
Do y'all have programs in the community?
Yes, we have a 501c3, and that's called Literacy Nation. And our motto is with literacy and justice for all, because we truly believe that you tell the young people with liberty and justice, liberty will get you in nowhere, but literacy will get you everywhere.
And you have to have an educated mind, correct?
An educated mind is the only way to make it.
And why is education important to you?
Education is important to me because growing up as an African-American male in New York City in the mid-60s and 70s, we had a lot of programs that, that fell by the wayside. They came and they used you basically. They enrolled you into schools, into colleges, into programs, and then they let you fall off. And so if you didn't get everything they had for you when that program ended, like the CEDAR programs, when those programs ended, you were just another brother that went to a program that failed. But my parents didn't allow that. They made sure that every program I entered, every program that I enrolled in, I received something out of it.
Let me ask you this. What's your opinion on the Philadelphia school system now?
Not Philadelphia, New York, Detroit, pick a city.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. All I can tell you is that right now, the public education system is being pilfered. I'm not a big fan of the charter schools. I'm not a big fan of homeschooling. I've come to a public education, and I think a public education, if it is administered right, and the teachers are in there to teach, and the parents are in control of their child's education and in control of their child, there's nothing wrong with the Philadelphia school system that cannot be fixed with more parent involvement and more dedicated teachers that's there to teach rather than there to collect a check.
Have you had any challenging children that's come through the Yaten Library?
Yes. Here's how this works. I'm the only African American male librarian in Delaware County. And a lot of children have never seen a black man as a librarian. So when they come in, they think I'm somebody's father. They don't know who I am. So when I introduce myself as Mr. Ritchie, the librarian, I get mixed reaction. So sometimes the young men, they challenge me. You know, why do you want to be a librarian? What man wants to be a librarian? And blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they get a little disrespectful. So I have to ask them to leave. So I had to ask a certain young man to leave when I first got there. And when the springtime came around, he wanted to come back. And I said, oh, no, it don't work like that. You don't come into the library and disrespect Mr. Ritchie and the staff and just come back. You have to do something. He says, what? I said, you know, we're getting ready to plant flowers in front of the library because the kids are standing outside and they're dropping food and everything. I figured if I plant flowers, they can't stand there. So he says, I'm not planting any flowers. I said, then you can't come back into the library. So he decided to stand across the street and watch me plant these flowers. And as I'm planting the flowers, he's going like this. So I said, come here. Why are you shaking your head at what I'm doing? He said, because you don't know what you're doing. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing wrong? He said, well, first of all, Mr. Ritchie, you don't pull flowers out of the like this. He said, you take and you rub the container and you get the flowers loose and then you pull the flowers up. He said, and second of all, you're not making the hole deep enough. So I said, who are you? He said, I plant flowers with my grandmother all the time. Evidently, you have never planted flowers. So I said, well, why don't you help me? So he's helping me plant the flowers, and then there's the snails in the flowers. So when the kid goes, oh, a snail. So I take the snail and I says, I should make you eat this snail. He says, I don't eat escargot. I said, you don't eat escargot? What are you talking about? I said, when did you get so smart? So his little buddy says, no, actually, you mean when did he become so educated? So I look at these, so I said, who are you two guys? I said, who are you two? They said, well, actually, we're very smart, but we're just bored. Wow. And I said, oh my goodness, to myself. I said, you've been tossing these guys out of the library for the last 4 months. You have to take a different approach. Mm-hmm. You're a black man in a black community with young black boys coming in here, challenging you, not saying what you're going to do for me, but saying it in other ways. And I had to step back and say, wait a minute, brother. This was you 25, 30 years ago. This was you. Don't let this suit, this position, this title make you forget where you come from. So I had to back way up on my approach. Mm-hmm. You know, that was a check. That was a aha moment. Right. Who do you think you are?
And is there a fundraiser project you have going on?
Yeah, we have two fundraisers. We have a cookbook that we made, the Friends of the Library made. And this is a book with all the recipes from members of the community. I have 2 recipes in here, a peanut butter jelly sandwich and a cold cereal jamboree. But on a more serious note, in May we'll be doing a fundraiser called Read and Seed. It's a 24-hour read. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and it's 10 o'clock the next morning. People will stand up and read from the Bible, the Quran, the Magna Carta, whatever you want to read, love letters from your grandmother to your grandfather, anything that you want to read, you read, and people will pledge for you to read, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And we're going to go straight through for 24 hours. My goal is to raise funds for more programming in the library, for children and adults, and just raise some money so we can give some quality programs at the Yaden Library to the community.
Wow. Do you have any information?
Yeah, we start in May, and it'll start at the end of May. We don't have a date yet, but the date will be coming out pretty soon. Drive by the Yaden Library in another 2 weeks, and you'll see the big sign outside on the facade all about the reading seeds. And so we're encouraging everyone to come out and read. Show our young people that a mind, how they used to say, a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Wow. Okay. Do you have any contact information?
Yes, Yaden Public Library is number is 610-623-4090. My personal email is yadenlibrarydirector@gmail.com.
Once again, you have it. I'm Tracey L. Fisher, Gateway to Reentry, Community Talks. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.